Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Prado 150 out of here. So guys, if you remember, in one of our episodes we broke our alternator, second one for the year, by going through water at Gordon Country. So we take you through the install of a new alternator by Dan from Dan's Automotive.
Slogger here from Prado 150 out here. So, not a good start to the day. Already parked up on the side of the road from one bog hole. Let's take a look. What's going on, Michael?
What's going on? Yeah, we've
12.8, that's good.
got a bit of water in the alternator. Morning guys, how you going? Mike here from Prado 150 out of here. Just a bit of a stressful drive. Heading into Mort Street to see Dan, the man, Dan's Automotive, another red light. So just going in to get the new alternator, so I'll fill you in on those details and what alternator that I'm going to be getting. I'm just going to quickly run through the installation of that, so we'll go through with Dan with that. So yeah, poor car sitting on 11.92 volts, crossing my fingers, I'm going to make it. Well guys, I made it.
You did.
I made it straight into the workshop. I said, I'm not parking in the car park, I'm coming straight in.
Yeah, good idea.
I think you're ready for me anyway, weren't
Good
you,
idea. I had everything open so you could just drive straight in. I don't want to push Prado in today.
So everyone knows Dan's Auto. So I've come back to Dan in relation to the alternator of the previous one that failed. So yeah, when we get it out of the box, we'll go through it with you what we're going to put in. Yeah, we'll get stuck into it, eh, mate?
Yeah, we'll get the old one out, and I'm interested to see what's
going on with
it, what brand it is as well.
Yeah, it's not too much. What do you reckon? I haven't put too much mud in there, have I?
It's pretty clean if you ask me.
So there wouldn't have been a lot of water go through, but
no, I say we'll have a look and see what brand it is, because there's a certain few that really aren't a fan of water.
Yeah, rightio. Okay.
Yeah, but
all right. Well, anyway. I'll get you when you get the other one out of the box, mate. We'll get you to go through why you reckon that one's a good option for the Prado. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh.
Mate. So Dan's just got some presents here for me.
So this one here is a high output alternator. It's a 150 amp. It uses a genuine denso regulator.
Yep.
Which is important. And it's got a nice strong decoupler on here. A common failing point on a lot of these modern alternators is this is a decoupler, so it's like a one-way bearing. You can only turn one way. They fail, and basically what happens is you think it's an alternator, but it's actually the decoupler that's failed. So this pulley will spin, but the internal part of the alternator will not, it just stays still. So you can replace these, but this is actually a heavy duty version on here. Yeah, and all around these are a really good quality alternator. I've been using them for probably 9 years now, I think.
Yep.
This particular brand, and I'm very happy with them. Had one on my Land Cruiser, and it copped a fair bit of punishment through water and whatnot, and never let me down.
Yeah. So when I spoke to you before, Dan, you said that you've actually put these on other Prados.
Yeah, I have. So a lot of people opt for a standard one because these are a little bit dearer on the Prados. I think you're one of my only customers, probably out of 3 that actually use them fully off-road. A lot of people just drive them around town. But yeah, so I have used these before on Prados, and people have always commented on how well their dual battery setups work in combination with these. Like they charge really, really quickly.
Yep.
But it's just the quality of them as well. Like Toyota make a very, very good quality unit. Don't get me wrong. Genuine Toyota stuff is really, really good.
Yeah.
This just gives you that little bit of extra boost for the charging system. So yeah,
did you say how many amps that was?
It's a 150 this one, so it is a big alternator.
Yeah.
In some cases, with some vehicles, you will actually have to upgrade your wiring to cope with the extra current. like I just showed you with yours, these are pretty good from standard. They run a 140 amp fuse in there, and although this is a 150 amp alternator, it's not going to constantly charge with 150 amps.
Yeah.
That's what it peaks at.
So for anyone else, I've got it's an October build, which probably doesn't matter so much the month, but it's a 2015 3 litre Prado.
Yeah.
So if anyone wanted to get the 150 amp alternator, which is like the one you got in front of us there, that would go fine in the Prado.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So any 1KD Prado, you can fit these in there. 150 series. Yeah, this is what. And
this is probably the step before spending a heap of money and getting a sealed, cooled alternator.
Yeah, this is probably as a standard type of alternator. This is as big as you can go. Yeah.
But as far as the common problem with them, as you know, with me, is getting water in it. So,
look, all of these internally are resin coated. So they run a genuine regulator. The regulators are good quality. I personally have put these through water in other vehicles, and they've coped perfectly fine. I haven't had a problem. Haven't had anyone report to me they've had a problem either.
Yeah.
With some other brands,
Okay, like the one we're going to pull out of the Prado.
Well, I don't know what one is in there, but there are certain ones that I've found really hate water. Even the sight of water, they give up.
Okay. And another little job we've got to do, we've just got some pulleys here, eh?
Yeah.
Mine are getting a bit noisy.
Yeah, so the listings for your vehicle on these pulleys were not all that helpful. So I've ordered every pulley that will suit a 1KD, and we'll just select from there what ones we want to use. I think to make life a bit easier, we'll get this battery out and out of the way and move all the wiring off. You know, we've got that one. That one's correct.
Now, Dan, I wasn't actually recording for some reason. You can feel the heat on that too, can't you? Still. Yeah. Can you run through that bearing again? This bit here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so
that's obviously the old one.
Yeah, so we'll just check the heights on it here. So that the aftermarket ones are never exactly the same, but the main thing is the actual the offset or the protrusion from the mount, the width of the pulley, and the actual back spacing on them as well. So
now what you're saying about the grooves and how you can tell that's...
Yeah, the belt's obviously been, they're very high tensioned on these belts, but the belt's obviously been biting and wearing into this pulley. But it's got a bit lipped on each side, possibly even slipping as well can cause that. But yeah, the actual bearing's quite raspy in this one. It's obviously gone very dry inside of there. Water and mud gets in here and leaches the grease out. These are all full of grease, and so it kind of leaches that out, and the bearings dry out, they become noisy, they start to wear and fatigue and break down.
Now this one here, what's that one? Is that one? Oh, that's the one that you can hear it. Yeah, you can hear that now. Oh, yeah.
Can just hear it. Yeah, it's not the best. But anyway, we'll put these new pulleys on, and this one's actually pretty heavy duty in comparison to that there. Look at the thickness of it.
That'll be a Toyota one though, this one.
That's a genuine Toyota, yeah.
That one's a tensioner?
Yeah, so that's the tensioner pulley.
You heard a bit of...
This is probably the best out of the three as far.
Oh, really? Okay.
But you can still hear there, it's
like a grindy.
A little. It is dry, and you can see all this. You see it's all this is
rusty.
Well, this is actually cape dirt. That's what that is. That iron ore dust that's got inside of there, and it's sticking to it because the grease has started to kind of leach out the back, and
Yeah. Well and surely overdue, eh?
Yeah. Well, look, they've done 180,000.
More.
Yeah, more than that. So can't grumble too much at that. That's
no. Yeah. And I suppose, would it be fair to say, not being a mechanic myself, but when you do the timing belt, do most people replace these then?
Well,
because
not
everything's
really, because
no?
you don't actually. There's only one of these you actually have to pull off to move out the way. If you were going to change your water pump and timing belt, but these other two, no, they.
You just do them when you can hear them.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
I've kind of had a bit of a thing with my vehicles when they've hit around 250,000. I've actually pulled all these off and and put new ones. Or as most Toyotas are, every 150,000 for their timing belts. When I've gone to do the second timing belt, so at 300,000, I've kind of pulled all of it off, done the water pump, belts, pulleys, the whole works. And then it's good again for at least another couple of 100,000.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Toyotas will do 500,000.
Yeah. Especially Prados.
Yeah.
So is there any hints or advice here with brands or anything for this type of thing, or it's not really that important?
Yeah, I mean, like these new line pulleys are quite good, and I know we haven't actually used that one. We've used these tech part, but yeah, I buy all of these from a good, reputable parts supplier. They're not, they're not bought off the net.
Off the shelf or something.
They're good. They're good quality things. As far as the pulleys go, most of them, just make sure that if it has a steel pulley on it, always put a steel pulley back on. There are some out there that are cheap and they are a reinforced plastic. Don't ever compensate. Or sorry, I shouldn't say that. Don't ever kind of skimp on that. And always if it's steel, put steel back on. And in a lot of cases now where there's plastic pulleys, there's always a steel variant. Always opt for the steel over the plastic. Especially on an off-road vehicle.
Yeah. So here's the old one.
Yeah, so this one's actually got the decoupler's not all that great on this. So if I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but if I kind of twist it and then stop, like actually break the pulley, you'll actually hear the alternator runs on. So can you see that?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
So what actually can happen is under acceleration takeoff and higher RPM, this can spin and leave the actual stator behind. It actually, it actually won't turn. So it'll kind of, it's very delayed, or this can spin at slower RPM internally than the actual pulley.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Which is a problem. Because these alternators, and the reason why they do this is to stop kind of overrun, because these are quite heavy when they're turning. So when you turn your engine off, the inertia inside of here wants to keep this turning, right? So this basically stops that overrun, and also sometimes jerking, going from higher to lower RPM rapidly, it kind of takes the sting out of it. But on the downside, when these start to fail, and this is not too bad. Like some of them, literally, you can spin this as fast as you like, and nothing happens inside of it. It won't even move. But this one here,
So that's failed, isn't it?
It's not fouled as such, but it's quite loose. It is, it is fairly loose. It's not even that old, is it? This thing, what, 2 months old, 3 months old, something like that. Yeah. But this is the main Achilles heel in it, are these regulators in the back. If they get a lot of watering, mud ingress inside of there, and they don't like it. So this,
because the one, this one here was like an instantaneous water.
I'm going to say that it's more than likely the regulator has taken on a bit of water and that's it. It's fried it.
Okay.
But, So I don't know exactly what regulator is inside of this. It looks like an aftermarket one because I actually can't see any markings inside of there as such. Whereas on this one, it's actually marked on the, you can actually see it on there.
So what you're saying is this one's got
that,
a name.
that one's a name.
doesn't.
That one's a branded one. This one in here
Is a no name.
Is just a very generic. Who knows what it is?
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know what they're using inside of these ones, but yeah.
And that's one of the important parts of it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the regulator is very important.
Can you take that cover off?
It can come off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can take that off. Oh, she's burnt out.
Yeah.
Smell it. Yeah.
So is that a water thing or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got a whiff about it. I would say that something is shorted out inside of there. It's got that real kind of electrical burnt out smell about it. Yeah. There's a bit of dirt and mud and stuff in here. It's fairly hard to tell until you start pulling it all apart, you know. But that's almost likely what has failed, because you said you noticed a voltage spike.
Yes.
Before it actually stopped charging.
Yep.
Which tells me that the regulator was damaged in some way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's in, Dan?
Yep, it's in.
Look at that. Nice shiny brand new one.
Just got to connect up the wiring and
Yeah.
put the tensioner pulley back on, put the belt on.
Okay.
And yeah.
Excellent. I was going to say, it seemed harder, it looked more difficult, but you've made it look very easy. I think would be the way to say.
To access it through the wheel well here is a lot easier than to try and pull it up through the top, because you've got to remove quite a bit up top if you wanted to actually pull the alternator through the top.
Yep.
And they just fit through here.
Yes, as we've seen, yeah.
They are a little awkward to get to a couple of the bolts, but fairly simple. Yeah. Not like some
And I don't know if I made it easier or harder for him, helping him, but anyway, he probably won't tell me that.
No, it's easy when you've got more hands.
And now, I know I already asked you, but just anyone else that was watching, so these flaps, they don't really do much as far as the water going through it.
Oh, they are to help stop kind of rocks and debris and stuff going in there, but as far as water goes, water's going to come up wherever it likes.
Yep.
It's not going to stop water going in there as such. It will stop, I say, dirt and debris off the tyres, flicking it in there, and then it gets washed up into the well here.
Yep.
And ends up going straight in. But we're just going to start putting these pulleys back on.
Yep.
So we'll start with the tensioner pulley down the bottom there.
So you've made it look relatively easy, mate. But I suppose that's what your job is, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done
a fair few.
Couple of these.
Yeah. Hopefully no more to mine for the alternator anyway.
No, you can't start collecting alternators.
They get expensive, mate.
Yeah, well, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
You don't want to be doing this every 12 months.
Definitely not.
No.
Some would say stay out of the water. Some other people that might be watching this. But I say, what's the point of a 4-drive?
Yeah, well, that's right.
When you've got teenage boys.
Yeah, I think you've been a bit unlucky. I mean, obviously your original alternator, that did you 180,000 kilometres trouble-free.
No, yeah.
I think the reason why that one failed is, one, you went through one of the most notorious water crossings there is. Secondly, it was an old alternator, it was well and truly worn.
Yeah.
This one that we've just taken out is it's an aftermarket one that's fairly lower quality in comparison, so I think you're unlucky with it.
At least it got me home, I suppose, from Cape York.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was main part about it.
So yeah, this one should certainly do the trick, I reckon. It's definitely going to help with your dual battery setup.
Yeah.
That extra 20 amps of current. Good strong charge rate. it'll be good. Yeah.
Now there was you said that the same people that made that alternator, I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, there was a next level up. You said they made a seal, not a cool one, but a seal one, just for anyone else that was.
Yeah. So
even wanted to go slightly better than the one we've just put in.
Yeah, I got some info through a couple of weeks back on a new series of alternators that are coming out, and they're specifically designed for off-road applications. They're I'm not 100% sure on but I think they're a ceramic or Teflon coated body. Everything is resin coated internally, and they're a sealed regulator as well, which is brilliant.
Which is what you want, eh? Is it?
Yeah. I haven't had too much more info on them yet, but apparently they are going to be the go-to thing. Yes, they are expensive for a standard alternator. I say standard, they've obviously, heavy-duty internals, and they've actually spent a lot of time on the housings of these things to make them as watertight or as water-resistant as possible.
So just comparing, I suppose, costs roughly. So compared to the one you're putting in for me, say to that one, what?
So they're about double the price.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is going to set you around about, I think they were kind of in the range of about $800 to $1,200 for a standard alternator, and then you've got next level up on that, which is what we were speaking about earlier on, the actual fully sealed water-cooled units, which can go well over $2,500, and they do require fairly extensive install process. But obviously they're never going to get any, they're never going to have any waterlog issues.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but this is the tricky part. I don't think I'm sure I could have had to, but
people are going to say it's just a drive belt.
I've got no idea. The tricky part of it,
the tricky part is the tensioners on these, on a lot of Toyotas, they've got a lot of force behind them, and if you don't quite get the belt routed the correct way and try to squeeze it on a pulley that is too large or has a lip on it, you'll be there all day. So you've got to make it slightly easier for yourself. So what I try to do is get the belt firstly around the crank and around the alternator and the AC compressor, right? And then you can actually use these flat pulleys to your advantage, and you can slide the belt over the flat pulley at the top here.
The top one there, yeah.
Yeah, instead of trying to force the belt over this big shield on the compressor clutch, and it is a little bit kind of awkward, but that's the way I've done them. But you've got to kind of tighten the belt in 2 stages, so you'll get the belt sitting half on a pulley, and then you've got to reset on the tensioner and go again to kind of get the full compression on that tensioner. So it's basically reached the end of its travel, and then the rest of it will go on.
Rightio.
Okay, so yeah.
So this might be a silly question, but there's on the alternator we just put in, obviously there's a bit of play that you've got.
Yeah.
Well, not play, but you.
There's a slight bit of adjustment.
Can you use that to your advantage on this or not? Doesn't really.
You can, but then you make it harder for yourself to get in there and tighten up that bottom bolt on that bracket I was telling you about. So I usually do it this way. Okay. Bolt everything in, and then get it half on it. You're not going to get it on first shot. I've only managed to do it a couple of times. You kind of get it half on the pulley, take your spanner off, go back onto the tensioner, go the rest of the way, and then on you go. But you might need 3 hands, but you can get away with 2.
All right. So I'll try and make use of one on one for you, but
for myself.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to feed this and loop it around the pulleys that I want it to be on at the moment. And there's not much room in these engine bays to kind of get your hands in there. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I'm just feeding it onto the pulleys that I want it to stay on.
Onto the air compressor there?
Right. And we want to make sure it's around the harmonic balancer before we start pulling this up to kind of get a bit of tension on it. can actually rotate the belt slightly and it will pull itself on through here. It goes up and around and over. Oh, bloody hell. No. How did that break? How did that break? It's just pulled on it.
Pulled it too far, maybe. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Ah dear. Right, we'll have to fix that. I guess that's a common thing on a lot of the forums. People are talking about.
Yeah. So that's, well, it's pretty brittle, eh?
Yeah, it's very brittle. We can see it literally fell out of the hose in pieces. Little pieces of it came out.
So Dan's got to put a bit of a copper barb on there, aren't you?
Yeah, brass
So we
fitting
can-
to go in there. Yeah.
We can, or brass, so we can put that back on. So saves buying a new radiator.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that it was done here, not if I was fiddling around with it at home. I'd be a bit stuck.
Yeah, I've repaired a lot on various different vehicles. Those, they tend to all be the same. They get brittle and they snap. They're so small.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just a very delicate little process to do this. Alright, so that's through. So you just make sure you've got plenty of material out the way. A nice free access. And you can't go too big, because if you go too large and drilling this out, the plastic will literally just split. So you want to make sure you've got probably at least a mil or so of material there, which is strong enough because we're only going to push it in slowly. and araldite it in there. Once it's in there, it's not going to come out. All right, pretty happy with that. So basically, as you can see, this should just slide in there like that. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it another quick touch up on the grinder, just take any little imperfections off of that. Ideally, I'd want to put that in the lathe, but it's not here.
Yeah.
So we've got to use the bench grinder, but I'll just take a few little imperfections off of that. And then we sit that in there, put araldite around, push it in, put a bead of araldite around onto this little shoulder here, right? And once that's set in there, it's not coming out, and then you can just literally just push your hose over, clamp it, and you're done.
Yep, yep. And the radiator gets to live another day.
Yeah.
So there's the packet there, hose joiner 1/4 hose, just from Repco. Get them from?
Yeah, we just got those from Repco.
What size is it?
That one's a 1/4 inch, yeah, 1/4 inch. So basically what I've done is I've used a 6mm drill bit. These are about 4mm from factory, so I've actually gone through with the drill, with the power drill at 5mm, and then 5.5 with the power drill, and then I do the 6mm by hand, because the problem is if you put a slight angle on that drill, it's going to snap it. So you just do it, it's a bit tedious, but you just slowly wind it in by hand, get a feel for it, and then you only want to go 6mm. If you go any larger, it is going to crack. We've got plenty of material there that we'll be able to slide that in and araldite it in place, and it'll be nice and strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah. Once you got it right, it's in there. So we'll just pop that back out now, araldite it. And I say we're going to put a nice bead of araldite here so it adheres and holds on this little collar. Yep. Up against it. Once araldite sets, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Or epoxy resin, whatever. We'll mix some up, and then let it dry for a bit, and you can put your hose back on, clamp it down. That's it. It's done.
And then don't knock it again.
And don't knock it again.
Yeah.
Or that. Well, this is not going to break.
No.
You know, if this breaks,
It's so good, mate. It won't come out.
Yes. If this kind of pulls in there, it's going to snap that. But you can see it's got little kind of little gussets here, little plastic sections that are bracing this. So this bit here is strong. I've obviously cut it down. It was snapped off about 5mm past it. I've cut it down to the the strengthened section. But ideally, what it wants from factory is a screw-in type fitting with a barb on there. That yeah. So if it does break, you can. But
yeah.
Anyway.
So you were saying you've got to be quick.
Yeah, it is a rapid drying epoxy, this, which is good. We just let it kind of run around. It'll actually drip around the back here, and then we can tidy it up. Oops, sorry.
Oops.
Did it get on there?
No, you're on. The big moment, Dan.
Once we get this clamped up, and it's bitten down. The actual rubber's bitten down on that barb. It cannot come off. Whereas just a straight piece of brass pipe, you've got nothing to actually get that grip.
Yeah.
Just
too smooth.
It's too smooth. Yeah. So that's why I like to use these little barb fittings.
Yep.
I don't think we even lost much at all.
No, it didn't look like it.
Not many people know about that, but that is how you actually bleed these up. You take this little bung out.
Yeah.
And it's an air bleed, so this is the highest point in the cooling system.
Yep.
All right. And there is actually a little mark on there, or there is on the highlights anyway.
So don't tell anyone, Dan, but he goes, I'm going to bleed it. So I thought he was going to take that off, and I said, but you've already sealed it, mate. He goes, no, I've got an old trick up my sleeve here.
Will. So it's the highest point in the radiator. Yeah, I can see coolant right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of the highest point in this, and most of it comes out of there, but it takes forever to bleed it through there unless you take this level
Yep. There you go. I don't know if anyone else knew about that, but I certainly didn't.
You just nip them up because they will break. They're very brittle.
Very plasticky.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the old
Oh,
part that come out of the radiator there for
so
that.
it wasn't going to take much to break that off?
No, you can see it's got all heat cracks, stress cracks through it. It's very, very brittle. It just really just snaps to bits.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, once again, mate, thank you. Got me out of a bit of a mess, I mean, you learn, don't you? I mean, the Alternator that I had, they got me home, so that was
I mean,
the main thing, wasn't
when you're up there, you kind of got to take what you can get. Not that it was second grade stuff or whatever, it's just that they're just a very generic thing. They haven't got the beefier internals of that one. Does, you know. I guess, but like you said, it got you home. It's a long tow. From up there all the way back to
take a loan out, wouldn't you, for that?
Yeah.
So what have I learnt today, mate? So we've done the pulleys.
Yeah,
they were getting a bit noisy anyway before.
Yeah, I think all three of them were on their last legs, I think. A bit too dry inside of this.
Yeah, which you could tell when you took them out.
Yeah.
Obviously, the alternator, we got that done. And then we learned how to fix up when you knock that little pipe, whatever it is, off.
The top tank.
Which anyone that works on their own car, being a Prado, will probably know of it or have done it themselves.
It's a very common thing. It happens on a lot of different vehicles with those little tiny outlets on the top of the top tanks. That's one of the first things to go. And radiators are not that cheap, and they take a lot longer to install. A simple fix like that. I mean, that radiator's probably got another 50 to 100,000. So.
What do you do? You do the European.
Yeah,
we specialise in that as well.
I do a lot of European stuff. I mean, my passion is four-wheel drives. But
what do you got? You got what cruiser have you got?
I've got an 80 series.
80 series cruiser.
Yeah, I've got an 80 series. I've had a.
Don't tell anyone on my channel.
I've had a lot of.
Prado only channel.
I've had a lot of different series of Hiluxes and Land Cruisers. I've never owned an 80 up until now, and I've got big plans for it. Some
of those plans are still in the workshop. Parts of it.
Engines and So I'm happy with the 80 series. For me, it's the wagon that I've always wanted. So finally,
yours is petrol, you said?
It is a petrol. I will be doing an engine conversion on it. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is yet.
Come on now.
I've done them before in other vehicles, let's put it that way. This particular engine I'm going to use. So next year that's going to go ahead.
Stay tuned, we'll get it out of sometime.
So I'm happy with it.
No, that's good. No, well, once again, mate, appreciate your help. Thank you. And hopefully, I will see you back here again, but hopefully it's either me looking after the Alternator this time, or I won't see you back for the Alternator.
Maybe
probably be the starter motor. That's the next one.
That's probably the next one. I think you'll be alright with it. Hopefully next time it's just for, I don't know,
a check over.
wiper blades.